Ladies and gentlemen, there comes a moment in every person's life when the inner voice grows louder than the outside noise, when the whisper of potential becomes a roar you can't ignore. That moment is now. Today, we don't talk about change. We talk about transformation. Complete, powerful, and permanent. Transformation is not a stroke of luck. It is a set of rules, universal laws, principles as old as time and as sharp as steel. There is no greater tragedy than a man or woman with breath in their lungs and no purpose in their soul. Purpose is not a luxury. It is not something reserved for the elite, the wealthy, or the lucky. It is the birthright of every human being. And yet most drift, day after day, tossed by circumstance, steered by opinion, anchored in fear. Why? Because they have never made the decision to decide. Definiteness of purpose is not merely knowing what you want. It is a spiritual contract, written in the fire of your desire and signed with the ink of your will. It is the moment you say to life, this is what I shall have. And nothing, no man, no force, no obstacle shall stand in my way. It is the starting point of all greatness. Every empire began with a vision held so tightly that even reality bowed in its presence. Every invention, every fortune, every towering achievement was first a flicker of thought made definite by a decision. Purpose is power because it gathers your scattered energy and focuses it like sunlight through a magnifying glass. The same rays that gently warm your skin will set fire to stone when they are focused. So too will your efforts when guided by purpose. A man with purpose walks differently. He speaks differently. He does not ask, can I? He declares, I will. And the world, confused at first, eventually steps aside. But here's the truth most will never tell you. Purpose demands a price. It demands sacrifice, discipline, clarity. It will not walk with the lazy or the indecisive. It will not wait for you to feel ready. It is loyal only to the committed. And those who dare to commit, who dare to hold their vision when the winds rage and the path disappears, those are the ones who rise. Your purpose is not something you find. It is something you decide. You must claim it. You must breathe it. You must repeat it until the cells in your body recognize it as law. Once you know what you're here to do, the world begins to organize itself around you. The right people appear. The right ideas unfold. Circumstances bend. Not by magic, but by law, that what is held in the mind with persistence will eventually crystallize into form. Faith is more than belief. It is more than hope. It is the bridge, the invisible force that connects the world of thought to the world of form. You may have desire. You may have a purpose so clear it burns in your chest, but without faith, that desire remains imprisoned in the realm of imagination. Faith is the force that takes the unseen and makes it seen. It is the power that transforms thought into thing. Understand this. Faith is not blind. It is not naive. True faith is rooted in understanding, and understanding that the mind, when properly directed, has the power to create, to attract, to mold circumstance itself. You are not begging the universe. You are commanding it through unwavering belief. When faith takes hold, doubt evaporates. There is no fear, for fear cannot live in the same house as faith. Where one enters, the other must leave. Faith does not ask, what if it doesn't work? Faith declares it will because I have decided it must. Everything you have ever achieved in your life, small or great, was first made possible because of faith. Before the job, before the relationship, before the success, you believed, even if only for a moment, that it could be yours. That brief spark of faith opened the door. But most people live in reverse. They wait for evidence before they believe. They wait to see the bridge before they step onto it. They wait for the world to say yes before they commit to a dream. And so they stay stuck on the side of what is, never crossing over to what could be. You must believe first. That is the law. The world responds not to your wish, but to your certainty. Your subconscious mind, your silent partner, is shaped entirely by what you believe to be true. It does not argue. It does not reason. It accepts what you repeat with emotion, and it goes to work manifesting that truth through your thoughts, habits, and actions. This is why faith must be fed. It must be spoken aloud. It must be written down, repeated daily, saturated with feeling, reinforced with discipline. You do not wait for faith to appear. You build it. You condition it. You train your mind to believe, just as you would train your body to grow stronger. The moment you believe with absolute certainty, the universe moves. Doors open. Ideas strike. People show up. Coincidence becomes normal. Not because of luck, but because faith has a gravitational pull. It pulls your vision across the gap between imagination and reality. You will be tested. Life will present you with appearances, setbacks, silence, rejection. But these are not signs to quit. They are invitations to go deeper, to dig in, to anchor your faith until even the storm begins to obey your will. Do not ask for the path to appear before you walk. Walk with faith, and the path will rise to meet your feet. The greatest battles are not fought on the battlefield. They are fought in the mind, in the silent chambers of thought, where no one can see, but everything is decided. And in that sacred space, autosuggestion is your hidden weapon. You are speaking to yourself every moment of every day. The question is not whether you're using autosuggestion. The question is how you're using it. Consciously or unconsciously, as your weapon or as your downfall. The truth is this: your mind believes what you tell it most often, not what is true. Sachin Anderson, not what is logical. What is repeated with emotion, with certainty, with persistence. Autosuggestion is the mechanism by which thought becomes belief, and belief becomes reality. It is the tool by which you plant seeds into the fertile soil of the subconscious mind. And what you plant, you will harvest. There is no maybe. There is no sometimes. The law is absolute. If you tell yourself you are weak, your subconscious will build a life to match it. If you repeat that you are unworthy, your mind will sabotage every opportunity to prove you right. But if you tell yourself every day, with fire in your chest and clarity in your voice, that you are strong, capable, destined for greatness, your mind will open doors you never even knew existed. Autosuggestion is not a game of empty words. It is not wishful thinking. It is the process of impressing the subconscious through repeated, emotionally charged statements of truth, as you have chosen it to be. You see, the subconscious cannot resist emotion. It cannot reject repetition. It does not argue. It accepts what is given to it, especially when that input is delivered with belief. And once accepted, it begins working day and night, aligning your thoughts, your perceptions, your habits, your very vibration with the message it has received. Through autosuggestion, you reprogram the lens through which you see the world. You change your internal thermostat. You begin to attract people, events, and ideas in harmony with your newly declared truth. But here's the secret most never learn. You must be intentional. You must write your affirmations as though your future depended on it, because it does. You must speak them out loud, with feeling, with repetition. At night, when the conscious mind is quiet. In the morning, when the slate is clean. Every day, without fail. You are already being hypnotized by the media, by the opinions of others, by the limitations passed down from those who came before you. The only question is, are you doing it to yourself on purpose? Autosuggestion turns the tide. It makes you the author of your identity. It is the great interrupter of fear, the great rewriter of doubt. It is how you speak new realities into motion before the evidence arrives. Say it long enough and you'll believe it. Believe it deep enough and you'll act on it. Act on it boldly, and the world cannot help but rearrange itself around you. Knowledge alone is not power. That is a myth repeated by the masses. If knowledge were power, libraries would breed emperors and scholars would rule the world. But they don't. Why? Because only organized, directed, specialized knowledge becomes power. The rest is noise, in clutter for the mind. The man who knows a little about everything is the man who will be replaced. But the one who knows everything about one thing and applies that knowledge with intention, that is the one who becomes irreplaceable, unstoppable, and sought after. General knowledge is what the school system sells. It keeps the mind full, but the pocket's empty. It produces conformity, not greatness. It teaches people how to remember, not how to think, not how to win, but specialized knowledge. Now that is different. Specialized knowledge is the sharp blade in a world of dull mind. It is the scalpel in the hands of a master, the blueprint in the mind of the architect, the formula of the alchemist turning ideas into gold. It is the great equalizer. You may not be born into wealth, but if you acquire the right knowledge, the kind that solves problems, serves people, and drives value, you can rise from anywhere. It does not matter where you begin. What matters is what you learn with purpose. You must become a student, not of everything, but of the one thing that aligns with your definite purpose. Learn it deeply, study it daily, obsess over it until your name becomes synonymous with it. The world pays, and pays well, for depth, not for trivia, not for theory, for mastery. And mastery is not a moment, it is a commitment. You must hunt knowledge like your life depends on it, because it does. But beware, knowledge alone still means nothing if it is not used. You must act on it, convert it, channel it into motion. Let it guide your plans, shape your decisions, fuel your confidence. The man with specialized knowledge walks into a room differently. He does not need to convince, he does not chase. His presence speaks because his competence is evident. He is the answer to someone's problem, and the marketplace rewards answers. And do not confuse degrees with knowledge. Formal education may open doors, but it is self-education, driven by desire, directed by purpose, and applied with persistence that unlocks empires. You must become so skilled, so informed, so dialed in on your domain that others look to you as the source. And when they do, you no longer compete, you command. Specialized knowledge is not static. It must evolve. You must stay hungry. As the world shifts, you sharpen. As new challenges arise, you rise higher. You add layers. You refine. You stretch. You never stop. You must be willing to pay the price. The hours, the solitude, the late nights, the unreadable books, the mentors you seek out, the questions you ask when others stay silent. Because you know that in a world of surface-level ambition, the man with depth owns the future, that there is no power more underrated than persistence. Not talent, not genius, not charm, luck, or timing, for none of these can stand in the presence of a man or woman who refuse to quit. Persistence is the steam behind the engine, the quiet force behind every breakthrough, the reason mountains move, doors open, and odds crumble. It is not glamorous, but it is undefeated. Understand this, every force in your life that opposes your growth is counting on your surrender. Resistance only exists because it expects you to stop. It waits for your hesitation. It feeds on your doubt. But once it sees you will not yield, once it learns that you are relentless, it begins to bend, slowly at first, then all at once. The world does not resist you because you are weak. It resists because it is testing your strength. It wants to know if you are serious. If your desire is backed by decision and your decision backed by grit, it wants to know how badly you want what you say you want. Persistence is the test. And most people fail not because they lack ability, but because they lack endurance. They try once, twice, maybe 3 times. You must choose to bring power and surround yourself with others who burn with the same fire, the same obsession, the same refusal to settle. You see, the mastermind does not work for the lazy. It does not activate for those who want to look successful. It gives you what you demand of it, with purpose, faith, and persistence. So now, step forward. Build your vision with obsession. Surround yourself with warriors of belief. Speak your truth. Refuse to quit. And rise, rule by rule, into the life you were meant to create. The transformation begins not tomorrow, but the moment you decide.